Minister, we're going to give our students and our other guests a few more minutes. And in the meantime, you know, sometimes we're in a room together. We have this tribe, we have this village, and we don't know the person next to us. That's not right. We can't live so. So we can't live so. All right, so we need to get to know each other. All right? So if you're sitting next to somebody from another school, you've never met them before, all a Medz, all a conversation and say, greetings, wagwan, where you come from, what's your vision, what's your plan for life, how are we going to end violence in the country, how are we going to protect each other. You can do all of that for 5 minutes. Yeah? All right, we're excited about today. And one of my favorite daddies and entertainers is here, the great Wayne Marshall. Woo! Meet the Mitchells. How is your brand new daughter, Wayne? Good. She's not at school yet, right? Okay. And I want to acknowledge my daughter, Zipporah, who's in the building. She's not at school today, so I had to tell the Minister of Education why. Because I don't want to be one of those parents. Right, Doc? I don't want to be one of those parents. So I had to tell her that she goes to a prep school and they don't go back until Thursday. But she brought her book, and we're studying the role of a parent. You got to roll with mama, but you still got to do your homework and your schoolwork, right? So, again, let's give us 5 minutes. If the technical team has a little music that they could play in the background, just to hold a meds, because music make you hold a meds, you know. The right music puts you in the mood to learn, to be energetic about life, and to feel good. And when you're stressed out, certain music just make you feel good. So I don't know if the technical team has anything. Is that my dearest Yannick? Is that my TVJ team? Hello. Hello, mentee. Nice to see the press here today. I want to acknowledge them. Hi, Sheffy. Big up RJR and all of the press here, JIS, because the press tells the story, right? And we have a story to tell today. A story about the strategies that we can implement to end violence and to have a more peaceful Jamaica land we love. So 5 minutes, hold a meds with somebody next to you. Young men, you all right? I'm going to do this and you shout out your school. Eh? Stats. No, I'm not hungry. It's just a few. I'm not looking but you tell. Behind, we're going to go. Just follow me. No, I'm not hungry too. You come from far. Again. Ja Rastafari. Oh, no hungry too. Again. Your school. Huh? Touch a person next to you and say, work with me now, sister. Danun! Excellent. I think I visited most of your schools, maybe 90%. Where? Oberlin. It's the only school. You go school, wait. You can go school any age. You sound like me. It's so funny, right? I went to prep school here, and I went to two high schools in Australia. So whenever I'm in these rooms, I'm like, I go to all schools. So I'm a part of y'all, and I'm so happy to be here with you again today. Oh, we have more schools. Foreign. Foreign. Walma Mitchell come from where? And I saw him take home a serious goal the other day. You had a football tournament and you scored the winning goal, right? Hey, Wilmers, wanna clap him. Repping. Talk about football. My son has a match. He plays for the Emmanuel Christian Academy ECA prep team. And we won the Junior Cup the other day. I'm a proud football mother, yeah! And we have a match today against Queens Prep. So I'm getting ready for that. So I'm out here well excited. Center back ready. All right. So again, my team, we're going to play a little music. We're waiting on a couple more guests. And as soon as the executives say yes, and I can see my team on the stage, I will introduce everybody in just a few more.
Lift up my eyes to this, I'm blessed, oh man. With my two hands in the air as far as I can. Yeah. As far as I can. I can, yeah. My two hands in the air as far as I can. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing, yeah. Lift up my eyes to this, I'm blessed, oh man. Ooh. Sometimes I'm lost and far from home, but I'll find my way. I follow my heart, I know I'll be found someday. While I'm lost, I learn and live. What do you say? Let's have a good time until that day. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. So when the evening comes, I lift up my eyes to this, I'm blessed, oh man. With my two hands in the air as far as I can. I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. Yeah. Lift up my eyes to this, I'm blessed, oh man. With my two hands in the air as far as I can. Yeah. As far as I can. I can, yeah. My two hands in the air as far as I can. With my two hands in the air as far as I can. Yeah. As far as I can. I can, yeah. My two hands in the air as far as I can.
Lord, I pray, I honor your name, I fall, you lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. Our Redeemer, saving grace. I know I'm not worthy to see your face. I try hard, but I make mistakes. You're still by my side every step that I take. Through every heartache, you get the praise. You are my guide, I'm a shield always. Every time me I gaze and I play hard days, you still show mercy and keep me safe. Lord, I pray, I honor your name. Deliver your mercy whenever I fall. You lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. All powerful, omnipotent. Shine down your glory, your magnificence. When you build the fence, it make all the difference. Step in on my life and take precedence. Be the captain, the pilot, the teacher. Be the head and the boss and the leader. Be my guide, my shepherd and my keeper. Beginning and the end, you are the Alpha Omega. Lord, I pray, I honor your name. Deliver your mercy whenever I fall. You lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God. Even when they plot and scheme and try to stop me. Even when them try them best to take my glory, I leave it in your hands, my Lord. Yeah, yeah. I leave it in your hands, my Lord. Yeah, yeah. Lord, I pray, I honor your name. Deliver your mercy whenever I fall.
Of our sins. Likewise, we must forgive those who have hurt us. Come on, people. God is love, and love covers a multitude of sin. Let love flow. Let it go. And let God arise in your hearts. Glory be to God.
Lord, I pray, I honor your name. Deliver your mercy whenever I fall. You lift me up. Glory to thee, oh God.
Lord, I pray we can end this violence here today. Remix! Oh, my song win. Yeah, beautiful song there in the background. Thank you so much, team. Again, welcome everybody. My name is Empress Golding. I will be your MC today. I am the host of the show Every Woman with Empress Golding on Nationwide 90 FM 1 to 3 p.m. So right after this, I'll be heading right there. There's so many distinguished guests here today. I don't know if I can get through them all. We already acknowledged the Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Education and Youth, your minister, yes. And she is here today. Senator Natalie Campbell Rodriguez, nice to see you. As well, Dr. Kesan Troop. When I call your name, because I'm going through the list, just a little wave. For those who may not recognize you, but you should know them, and you won't know all. Acting Chief Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and Youth. Welcome, so nice to see you. We also have Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education and Youth. Miss Kesia Carr, National Parenting Support Commission. That's right. And the honorable gentleman, you. Talk up, you, Miss Effie. What's your name? Carson Barrett, thank you so much. Welcome, the Honorable Carson Barrett, representing his school here today. Where's my principal, Mr. Dwight Pennycook? Principal, right there. I could hear the voice helping me with the name. You're a good principal. You know all their names, right? What's that? He knows all their names. Dr. Najat Amalia Mjid, UN Special Representative to the Secretary General on Violence Against Children. Some of us would say violence, but me like violence. Which one you say? Okay, just checking. All right, I also want to acknowledge a few more persons here today. SSP Charmaine Shan, Community Safety and Security Branch of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We do need you, and we support you. Whew, there's so many other persons to mention. I'm going to do it real fast. Work with me. Say, go, Empress. Mr. Stuart Jacob, National Parent Teacher Association of Jamaica. Mr. Samuel Smalling, National Association of Deans of Discipline. Yes, 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 work with me. Mr. Wayne Marshall, I mentioned entertainer as well. I want to also welcome Ambassador Allison. I met in, oh Lord, let me get it right, in Brazil years ago when I was working with, let me get it right, Ambassador Allison Stone Roof. We met in Brazil. Yeah? Years ago when I was working with Talk Up Youth and UNICEF, right? Oh my goodness. Welcome, Ambassador, here today. Undersecretary, Multilateral Affairs Division in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Whoa, such big titles. I'm getting through it. And I also want to acknowledge from UNICEF. I work so closely with UNICEF, protecting our children, working with our children. Deputy Rep at UNICEF, Vicente Terran. Woo! And his son plays football in our club. Yeah? So we cool like that. All right. Did I miss anybody? And I will acknowledge some of you will come in later. But to all of the distinguished guests here in the front row, in the back row, in the middle row, this is one love, one Jamaica, all of us working together to make Jamaica a safer place. And now I want to invite the principal of Wolmer's hosting us here today to welcome you officially here today, Principal Dwight Pennycook.
With Madam MC having established all protocols, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, great. It's after lunch here at Wolmer's, and so I don't know what it would have been for you, but it's a good afternoon, everyone. Okay, lovely. Mr. Jacobs, excellent. The good book, in one of its poetic sections, says, "Behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren," and of course we add, "and sistren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious oil upon the head." The call to again beautify our internal and external worlds with peace and harmony is a rallying cry this morning. And we here gathered have this opportunity to participate not only in the amplification of that cry, but equally in the cultivation of peaceable attitudes and harmonious conduct. And together we say, just Medz it. We've seen the results of poor or no conflict resolution skills in our schools. Social media will not allow for maladaptive behaviors to remain hidden or local. No one, it has been revealed, is immune to the tear in our moral fabric. What is positive, however, is that the collective consciousness has been aroused, and there's a willingness to join forces and to do something about it. Ladies and gentlemen, so much is at stake if we do not get it right. So much is in fact wrapped up in us getting it right. National goal number 2, the Jamaican society is secure, cohesive, and just, rests upon the strategic building of all our schools, barring none, as oases of childhood fun, fraternity, sorority, values definition, intellectual discovery, and creativity. All, let this commitment be renewed throughout the system, across all 7 regions, in every school type, and in every school family. Ladies and gentlemen, students all, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our school we all love dearly, the School of the Maroon and Gold Men of Heroes Circle, and to the Douglas Orain Auditorium here at the Woolmer Schools. Upon these grounds, the 1729 legacy continues unabated, Madame Rodriguez. Welcome to this interministerial partnership. Welcome to this our call to the collective return to justice, brotherhood, and peace. And together we say, just Medz it. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Principal. Thank you. Just? We're going to be doing that all day today. All right, so I want to acknowledge the teachers, Principal. You lead, and then the next set of leaders in all the institutions are the teachers. Can all the teachers please stand up? I also want to acknowledge, yes, Mrs. LaSandra Harrison, please stand too, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association. I also want to acknowledge Mr. Wellington. Yes, Mr. Wellington, you're a teacher, Prezi of the Intersecondary School Sports Association, ISA. Look out for my son, Kush Golding, big baller. Let's clap the teachers, come on. Let's clap the teachers. I have so much respect for you teachers. It's such a hard job. And we really want to acknowledge you. Thank you for all that you do. We pray for you every day. Can't do it without you. And we all remember our favorite teachers who molded us, right, adults? Never forget them. And I'm going to say something to the kids. Tell your parents to buy the teachers nice gifts, not bribery. At Teachers' Day, Minister. All right. Senator Dr. Sophia Longmore has arrived as well. So we want to acknowledge her. She's hiding somewhere in the audience, I heard. So we want to welcome her. And a quick announcement that Carrison Barnett, the youngest man on the stage, is representing the NSSC here today, Mr. Carson Barrett. Thank you so much. Yes, clap him, man. Clap the youth, man. His teeth are behind bars like Dr. Troops. Yeah, you hang out with people, birds of a feather, flock together. So you have to hang out with the right people at school. You hear me, youths? All right. We don't want to be hanging out with the violence producers. Just Medz it. We can't do anything without prayer and giving thanks for life. We woke up this morning, and we have an opportunity to be the change that we want to see. Can I get a just Medz it? So let's thank the Creator for today. And to do that, I welcome Bishop Christine Bengushe of the Methodist Church. Is she here? Yes, come on, cheer her on, man. Yes. Thank you, Bishop. I didn't acknowledge you earlier because I wanted to surprise you and surprise the people.
Morning, everyone. Just to share with us just this song before we pray, just to quote the words of it. New every morning is the love, awaking and uprising prove, through sleep and darkness safely brought, restored to life and power and thought. New mercies each returning day hover around us while we pray. New perils past, new sins forgiven, new thoughts of God, new hopes of heaven. Can I invite us to bow our heads in prayer? we quiet our hearts and our minds in acknowledgement that there is someone who is bigger than all of us. We quiet our hearts and minds as we seek to medz it together, as we join together in seeking to end violence in schools and to ask God's presence, to ask God's guidance, to ask God's direction as He uses each one of us to assist in the process of bringing peace again to our nation, to our schools. Creator, even as you made us, each one of us, we were wonderfully created and made in your image and your likeness. You have called us to recognize that each person is a brother and a sister, and that we are family together, regardless of our biological names and the families from which we have come. But because of you, we are one. Help us to recognize that we ought to love and to care for each other, and that in the exercise of everything that we do each day, that we need to remember to forgive each other and to treat each other with compassion, and above all, the way that we would want to be treated ourselves. We ask your presence with us today. We thank you for this initiative and pray, Lord God, for our Minister of Education who leads this charge and all the stakeholders, that you would so, Lord God, govern all that will be said and done, and it will redound to your glory and honor, now and forevermore. We say, Amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bishop. I now invite our Minister of Education and Youth, as I acknowledge Mr. Julian Robinson, Member of Parliament, St. Andrews Southeast. Welcome, MP. Is this your constituency? No. Yeah, that's where we are, right? Eh? You charge up for me to enter? Big up the MP, and we've done some great work together. One of my favorite MPs, I must say, so I want to big him up. All right, we can always find what he's doing with his constituency development fund. And if you can't, young people, you have to hold him accountable. What me say? Accountable. Yes, working with the MP to end violence in schools. So thank you so much for being here. And Mr. Julian Robinson. And now we say just Medz it, an initiative to end violence in schools. Very important initiative. So I now invite the Minister of Education and Youth, Minister Favor Williams, for an overview of the campaign.
Just Medz it? Let me hear you. Louder. You're not on the, are you on the playfield today? Not yet, but you're going to be. So I want to hear you like you're on the playfield. Just Medz it. Is that the best you can do? Try again. Come. Awesome. Thank you. Greetings, everyone. Let me acknowledge my colleagues in Parliament, Mr. Julian Robinson, Member of Parliament, St. Andrews Southeast, Senator Dr. Savia Longmore, Senator Rodriguez. Let me acknowledge as well Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, Acting Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Education and Youth, Dr. Kassan Troop, or Acting Chief Education Officer, also at the Ministry, Dr. Najat, who is here on the platform with me, UN Special Representative to the General Secretary on Violence Against Children, and her team that's here visiting Jamaica, looking at our child protection ecosystem that we have here. Could I get a round of applause for Dr. Najad and her team? Let me acknowledge as well Mrs. LaSonia Harrison, President, Jamaica Teachers Association, Mr. Dwight Pennycook, host principal right here at Wolmer's Boys School, Mr. Keith Wellington, known as well not only as principal but president of Inter-Secondary School Sports Association, ISSA. Thank you for journeying all that way to be with us this morning. All our other principals who are here, I want to acknowledge you as well. On the platform with us, we have Ms. Casey Akar from the National Parenting Support Commission. We have in the audience SSP Charmaine Shand, Community Safety and Security Branch. Thank you so much. Mr. Stuart Jacobs, President, National Parent Teachers Association of Jamaica. Thank you so much, Mr. Jacobs, for taking up the mantle. Thank you for bringing greater visibility to that organization and having your voice heard on important issues as they relate to our parents, our teachers, and our students. Mr. Samuel Smalling, National Association of Deans of Disciplines. Ms. Janalee Abrikian, President, Executive Director, Peace and Love in Society, which we know as PALS. Of course, we have Mr. Wayne Marshall in the house. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you so much for coming on board. Lord, I pray. Oh, Minister Chuck is here. Thank you so much, Minister Chuck. Yes, thank you, thank you. And we have Mr. Damian Hilton, Project Stars, Senior Technical Project Officer. All the students who are here today. Yes, let me hear you. All our teachers. It wouldn't have been possible without you teachers, members of the media, members of my team at the Ministry of Education and Youth, those who made this event possible. Let me acknowledge you. All our parents who are here, community leaders, greetings again. I am sure you are distressed every time a child is hurt anywhere in our country. I am personally devastated when a child is sexually assaulted. I'm emotionally shattered whenever a child is killed in this country. I'm heartbroken to see videos on social media with children doing harm to each other. And I'm deeply alarmed when adults attack children in private and public spaces. I feel a sense of great despair when I see members of the public turn a blind eye to abuse, especially of children. But today, I am motivated by a great sense of duty to redouble our efforts at the Ministry of Education and Youth to find new and sustained ways to partner with families through the ever-expanding role of the National Parenting Support Commission and similar organizations. Ladies and gentlemen, I am not prepared to throw my hands in the air, and I hope you are not prepared to do that as well. I know that there's been a long-standing issue of indiscipline in our society and schools, and those are splashed almost instantaneously across social media platforms. I'm committed to ensuring that our schools are safe spaces for teaching and learning. I believe that through increased partnerships, we can curb indiscipline in our schools. I'm committed to greater engagement of the Jamaica Council of Churches and related bodies. I'm committing to greater partnerships with the Jamaica Teachers Association and our National Parent Teachers Association of Jamaica. Our teachers are among the stakeholders at the front of the fight against indiscipline. I treasure the work of our teachers, and I know all Jamaicans do as well. It is hard work in the classrooms with so many children from so many different backgrounds. So we want to continue to stand with teachers of this country as we pull out all the stops to end violence in our schools. I'm pledging to foster increased partnership with all public and private sector stakeholders. Together, I know we're going to find new and creative ways to stem violence in our schools. I am confident we can. Are you confident that we can, students? Does it sound like they're confident? Are you confident that we can end violence in our schools, students? And you are going to help us do it, right? Awesome. So we can end violence in our schools if we all become promoters of peace. We begin to be promoters of peace when we don't react violently to every single thing. We don't react violently to every comment about our hair or dress or something else, right? We understand that others may say things we don't like, and it's up to us in terms of how we react to what it is that they say. We are promoters of peace when we do not vendor selling illegal substances to your schoolmates and you do not report it to the school authorities. You are not a promoter of peace. And so I'm imploring all who are here today and those within the reach of my voice to pledge to be part of the solution to end violence in our schools. And if you see abuse of our children in the home, at church, on the buses, in our schools, don't look away. We know that verbal, physical, emotional, or psychological abuse is directly opposed to our national vision for Jamaica to become the place of choice to live, to work, to raise families, and do business. And recently, I hear many persons say to retire. I want to make it known that there will be no hiding place for those who injure and abuse our children. And while I'm happy that the vast majority of the close to 600,000 students who attend over almost 1,000 schools, including almost 3,000 basic and infant schools, that they return home safely every day, I'm not happy at all with the number of incidents which cast our entire school system in a bad light. I'm not happy about that. All of our stakeholders need to feel safe in our schools, and we all sitting here this morning can fix the problem. Experts say if we want to fix a problem, we have to first admit there's one. We have a problem of violence in our schools. And I want that to just sink in. We do have a problem of violence in our schools. Approximately 80% of Jamaican children experience some form of psychological or physical violence administered as discipline. 65% of students are bullied at school. 79% of children witness violence in the home or in the community. And these figures come from UNICEF's situational analysis that was done in 2018. In 2019 alone, 560 persons between the ages of 12 to 19 years were arrested for Category 1 crimes, for murders, for shootings, for rape, for aggravated assault, for robbery, for break-in, for larceny. The reality is many aspects of the violence that is played out on a daily basis in our society are also being displayed in our schools. In response to school violence, the Ministry of Education and Youth has developed the Security and Safety Policy Guidelines. It's one of the manuals we promulgated as early as 2008, and we've been updating it since then. Several years ago, we established the Dean of Discipline post in most high schools to address safety concerns and student infractions. And we know that the Deans of Discipline, that they are working in our schools. We employ over 1,000 guidance counselors to provide psychosocial support and other services to students and to parents. And yes, we will admit that that number is not nearly enough, but it's a number with which we have to work. And I know this year we added about 90 new guidance counselors. And as our budget allows, we will continue to add more there. Some time ago as well, we introduced the school-wide positive behavior intervention support, SWPB's framework, that places emphasis on the prevention of problem behavior, the development of pro-social skills, and the use of data-driven problem solving for addressing existing behavioral concerns. We implemented the health and family life education curriculum to focus on the delivery of a comprehensive life skills-based program and on the development of the whole person. And recently, my colleague Minister Chuck, has been going around to schools with the Restorative Justice Practice Initiative, which is something the Ministry of Justice wants to expand in our schools, and I welcome that, Minister Chuck, I welcome it. The government of Jamaica is committed to a holistic approach to addressing the issue of children and violence, resulting in focused attention being given to enhancing the legislation, policies, services, programs, and initiatives geared towards improving safety and security for our children. And just to touch on a few, the Child Care and Protection Act of 2004 is currently being revised to ensure alignment of its usage to other key legislation for the protection of children, as well as the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, and to outlaw physical punishment of children wherever it happens in Jamaica. We also have the Child Diversion Act of 2018. This was to allow the courts to have new options to deal with children who are alleged as abused of or recognized as having infringed the penal law without resorting to formal judicial proceedings. And our Safe Schools policy is being developed. It is at the green paper stage. You know that the government is also signatory to noted international bodies as a signal of its commitment to provide the best opportunities for our children to grow and develop to their fullest potential in safe and secure environment. We've ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child as far back as 1991. And more recently, we joined the Global Partnership to End Violence Against Children. From this global partnership, a national plan of action for an integrated response to children and violence is being implemented. Notwithstanding the incidence of violence against our children and among our children, it's on the rise. I believe the time is right to add another crucial layer of intervention. So today, I am launching the year-long End Violence in Schools campaign. The purpose of the campaign is to shift the culture of violent confrontations and responses among our children, our students, and to equip them with conflict resolution strategies that are peaceful and healthy. The campaign is also a national call to action for every single Jamaican and organization to support our efforts to engender and sustain a culture of discipline and peace in our homes, our schools, and communities. This initiative combines a multi-stakeholder approach and numerous technological inputs. The specifics are outlined in our press kit, and I'm sure you've gotten some information as well. We have to preserve our schools as safe places for our children. So this initiative is centered on targeted intervention. It is designed to help preserve our school as safe places. So what exactly is Just Medz It, End Violence in School campaign? So this year-long campaign seeks to reduce the incidence of violence in schools through a multifaceted approach. By improving the physical infrastructure, by teaching and incentivizing strategies for resolving conflict peacefully, by providing psychosocial support to students and parents, utilizing the creative arts to maximize whole school engagement throughout the campaign, introduction of character education programs in school. We want to promote a culture of pro-social behaviors among students. We want to expand the uniform groups in our schools and clubs and societies. And we want a national call to action for educators, parents, students, and the general public to take personal and collective responsibilities to end violence in schools. And of course, we will continue the public education through that time. The Ministry of Education and Youth, we will consolidate our human and financial resources to bring to bear on this. These include the Safety and Security in Schools Unit, the Guidance and Counseling Unit, the Health and Family Life Education Program, Character Education Program, Child Protection and Family Services Agency, and the National Parenting Support Commission. And as I said earlier, we will engage non-government organizations, private sector, community-based organizations, faith-based organizations to partner with us in our effort to reduce violence in our homes, in our schools, and our communities. And we have expectations in terms of the number or the reduction in the incidence of violence in schools. We have benchmarks that will be developed so that we know if we're making progress. We will monitor and evaluate as we go along. Flagship actions of the Just Medz It, End Violence in Schools campaign include increased utilization of the National Psychosocial Plan for Schools through the use of our guidance and counseling departments and the resources which are already in place. The Family Connect app, we will use that to re-engage students who have dropped out of school. We will partner with the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the United Nations Regional Development for Disarmament and Development in the Caribbean will convene a roundtable exchange of best practices later this month, and that will center on how to deal with gangs in schools. An interministerial 25-school strategy will be operationalized later this month. A total of 16,000 students in 25 primary and high schools based in the zones of special operations will be targeted for behavioral intervention. Next month, the Ministry of Education and Youth will spearhead a Safe Schools Perception Survey among our stakeholders. Anti-Gang Week will be in mid-November. Activities will happen to sensitize stakeholders on how to identify gangs in schools, and that will be a primary focus during that week. Of course, we will increase our collaboration with the Ministry of Justice in terms of the training of stakeholders in restorative justice practice. So the Just Medz It, End Violence in Schools campaign seeks to empower education stakeholders, in particular students, with additional tools to help with the amicable resolution of conflicts. Stakeholders need to think critically and weigh carefully their actions and the likely consequences in situations of verbal or physical conflict. And we're all hoping that through this campaign that will last for a whole year, that we can begin to see some changes. We're not naive to think that this is the only thing that we will ever do. But what we would like to see, begin to see, is a change, a reduction in the number of incidents at our schools. We want to see greater discipline in our schools, among our students, each one to each other. We want to see greater respect of our teachers in our schools. We want to see you as our students to show up on time for schools. We understand some of the limiting circumstances, but we want to begin to tell you how important it is for you to do these things. You are the future adults of this country, and you might have heard that 1,000 times already, but it's a fact that we keep repeating. And we know we have to depend on you to be the next workforce, to be the next parents, to be the next members of parliament, to be the next leaders in our country. And so, as the current generation of adults, it is our duty to do this kind of, to make the effort, to raise the awareness, and hopefully we'll get the results that we would like. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. And let us say again, just Medz it!
Thank you so much, Minister. It's great to hear about the partnership for the goals to end violence in the schools. Minister Chuck, welcome. Justice was said. Justice! Yes. And Senator Longmore, I mentioned you earlier. I love the presentation, State of the Nation. And we do need more love. If we had more love for each other, we wouldn't hurt each other. But unfortunately, many of us come from a violent history from the day we landed here, in our communities, in our homes, so we don't even know how to love. So everybody say love. Yeah, we need more love. And when you talk about stakeholders, I ask the young people, youths, what is your responsibility to end violence? How many of you are violence producers? Talk the truth and talk truth. Put your hand up if you cause trouble in your school. See him there? Yes, he raised your hand. 1, 2, 3. Put your hand up if you know that you're the problem. Let's look at accountability. Raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. How many of you have seen violence in the schools? Put your hand up real quick. How many of you? Let me see the hands. How many of you are afraid in your own school and your own community? Raise your hand. And that means that we need to do something about it. All right? We have to get militant. We have to come up with the solutions ourselves as well as young people. I put myself in your category. Okay? So just Medz it. All right, now I would like to invite Dr. Najat Mala, MJID. She's a UN Special Representative to the Secretary General on Violence Against Children. And then she's going to have to leave immediately after because she has a quick event. And so we welcome her for her remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Empress. It's very difficult to speak after you. Honorable Minister Williams, Excellencies and distinguished participants, all protocols observed, dear children and young people, it's really a pleasure to join you today for the launch of the Just Medz It campaign, which aims to reinforce the crucial importance of promoting a culture of peace and non-violence in school, but also in families and in communities. This is a timely initiative as violence in and around schools remain a serious problem in Jamaica, and when I saw how many raised their hands, it's really a serious problem. Violence is becoming normalized in school environments as part of a wider societal tolerance of violence. We have not to accept it. Schools are not as safe as they should be because of physical fights, because of severe interpersonal violence, because of bullying and cyberbullying, because of violent discipline, because of gender-based violence, among others. The consequences of violence on children, they could be victims or exposed to violence, on children's educational outcomes, long-term health and well-being are very well documented. Research has shown that violence in educational settings is associated with a range of mental and physical consequences, including anxiety, substance abuse, depression, and suicidal thought and behavior. Research has also shown that these effects can persist into adulthood. It is important to understand the multiple role children, you are playing in order to effectively prevent and respond to violence in school. There are no good and bad children. They are children that just need to be heard and supported. Preventing and ending violence in and around school is essential to ensure safe, empowering, enabling, inclusive schools where children feel protected, where they are provided with safe online pathway to express themselves freely and peacefully, to report concerns and to seek help. It is essential to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal, including targeting 16.2 and on ending all forms of violence against children, and SDG 4, which aims to ensure inclusive, safe, and equitable quality education. Investing in ending school violence is highly cost-effective. It leads to better health, education, and social outcomes, while also saving the social costs of dealing with the aftermath of violence. Violence is a behavior that can and must be changed with you. This calls for a whole of society and a whole school approach, as you highlighted, Madam Minister. This calls for involving and empowering teachers, school counselors, social workers, healthcare workers, families, students, communities, religious leaders, and media in prevention and early detection, as well as in raising awareness and changing attitudes and norms towards violence against children. And children and youth need to be involved in the prevention and response. Empowering, listening to your voices, and treating you as active participants with full rights will be crucial if we are to make real progress in creating a peaceful society that is free from violence. In conclusion, I just want to highlight one point. You know, all my life I was inspired by children's reactivity, children's, innovation, children's capacities, children's survival intelligence. And I just want to highlight one point. Violence against children is a problem, but it doesn't mean that children are the problem. And I think it's really important to have this in mind. Children are part of the solution, and we can make it, but we need to have you on board, and we need to invest on you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc. You're talking my language. You're talking because I have a thing called talk up youth. I say if you talk up youth, they need to be a part of the process. You understood what I said, see? I know you have to go, Doc. You're very busy. You have a next appointment. So whenever you're ready, we'll allow you to leave. And another busy minister has asked me to put him up on the program, and I'm going to listen to the bosses here today. All right, Minister Delroy Chuck has another appointment, so the Minister of Justice will now deliver a brief remark. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much, Empress. Ministers and all protocols observed. As you can see, my colleague Julian Robinson are coming from the Parliament. We have a joint select committee, and I think as soon as we speak, we are going back to continue with this deliberations, which is nearby. But, this launch is very important. And for the Ministry of Justice, teaming with the Ministry of Education, we see what is happening in the schools as a major problem. Now, it is a fact that we have violence around various communities and students. You have to help us to stem the tide and the cycle of violence. The truth is that violence begets violence. And that is why the Ministry of Justice is working not only with the Ministry of Education in the schools, but we are working with the churches and the communities and the homes to really stem that cycle of violence. Because one act of violence doesn't solve a problem. It oftentimes creates more problems. You get revenge, you get retaliation, and then before you know it, the hospitals have to take care of the victims, and before you know it, the funeral parlors have a victim. In truth, we have to stop it. And that is why the Ministry of Justice is promoting to resolve disputes and conflicts peacefully. We have alternate dispute resolution mechanisms, restorative justice, mediation, child diversion, victim services, and providing legal aid to all. And we will be going across Jamaica as we promote resolving disputes peacefully. No need to use abuse and violence to resolve disagreements. Disagreements are a natural part of human development. No two of us are the same. So we'll always find ways, different ways to disagree. But we must learn to resolve our disagreement peacefully. And that is why we are taking restorative justice into the schools, into the churches, into the communities. Because with restorative justice, when someone speaks wrongly or abuses another wrongly, we must find ways for the offender to accept the responsibility for his or her wrongdoing, whether by words spoken or actions taken or abuse applied. We have to find and teach the wrongdoer it is most appropriate to take responsibility. Once the wrongdoer takes responsibility, then the victim can forgive. And once the victim forgives the wrongdoer, then we can restore the relationship. That is the mission of the Ministry of Justice, to ensure peace and harmony between parties, within homes, within the schools, within the churches, to ensure that Jamaica can be a peaceful place. I will be working with the Ministry of Justice to use the mechanism in the schools, and working with the Ministry of Education, we want to put in at least 20 trained restorative justice facilitators in every school so that disputes can be resolved. And schools can become really the place that children can enjoy, educate themselves, and become outstanding leaders that our country requires. God bless you all. Please remember, Medz it.
Thank you, Minister. You missed out the first word. It's just Medz it. All right, thank you, Minister Chuck. And I would like to invite now your MP for this constituency. He's also a busy man and has to head back to continue the nation's business where Minister Chuck is. So ladies and gentlemen, MP Julian Robinson.
Thank you very much, Empress. Just Medz it? Just Medz it. Greetings, one and all. As Minister Chuck said, we left the Joint Select Committee to be here. But I'm here not just because I'm MP, I'm here because a couple weeks ago, I faced the mother of, does anybody know who Michelle Campbell is? She was the student who was killed at Kingston Tech. So I went to visit her mother in Bull Bay. And sometimes I would say, I would regard it as the most difficult visit I've had as an MP, because I didn't know what to say to the mother. And when I examined the impact that incident had, it has torn apart two families. The family of the victim, but also the family of the perpetrator. And the entire family, she has a brother. When I visited, he had not spoken a word for a day. I don't know what's going through his mind and how he will relate to that incident. But I highlight it simply because it gives an illustration of the impact of violence, not just on our students, but on the families, the neighbors, and the entire society. I fully support this initiative. It's overdue. We resolve conflicts violently too often. It's one of the negative aspects of our society. So our schools are not immune, but we need to do what we can to reduce the level of conflicts and to allow people to resolve disputes peacefully. So as a member of parliament, I'm MP here at Wolmer's. I'm also MP at Campion. And the last time I came here, we had a football match, and I bet you anybody could guess who scored the goal for Wolmer's? Wayne Marshall. So big him up. So I am supportive, Minister, and I would like to see this initiative in all the schools in my own constituency, not just at the high school level, because I think we also have to intervene at the primary school level, where the kids are about to develop their characters, develop their friendships, develop their acquaintances. But I fully am behind this. I wish it well, and I will support it in any way that I can as Member of Parliament. Just Medz it? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, MP Julian Robinson. All right, we're going to invite now, just to break it up a little bit, and I always say that music is healing. So right now, I'd like to invite the first performance today from the Jamaica College Drummers. So let's give them a round of applause. And the distinguished guests on the stage, we're just going to ask them to move back a little bit. We have some of the distinguished Wolmer's ushers to move you back a little bit so we can have some more space. And they will then be followed by LaSonia Harrison, JTA President. Yes? Lady Kesia Kerr. Is it Kerr or Carr? You know why? I have a teacher called Carr, and I've always said K-E-R-R is Carr. She told me her name is Kerr. And I said, okay. I know, like a car, K-E-R-R. But the teacher, her name is K-E-R-R. And she said, call me Kerr. So I always have to ask, Kerr, Carr, tomato, tomato. You understand? Potato, potato. Anybody say potato? You heard that one? My international guest. Where they gone? Where's Vicente? Gone back to UNICEF head office? He didn't even say bye. You know everybody is busy. We did start a little bit late today. Again, apologies. And personally, it's because there are a lot of players and everybody's coming from different areas. So, gentlemen, whenever you are ready, please let me know. You're ready? Okay. Maestro? Wow, can we make some more noise for that? Thank you so much, JC drummers. You see the collective security that we saw as they were drumming? And there's something very powerful in the beat and the rhythm. And as I said, that collective energy to just ease the mind, give us peace of mind, give us joy and laughter and relax us. And I know that many have studied the impact of group drumming on the social, emotional behavior of children and youth. So we really have to infuse music in our strategy to end violence against each other. Yeah? Trust me. Gonna feel good after that, don't? It's like gonna come alive. You forgot that you never had breakfast. Everybody has smiled. The mind feels right. And now we continue, as I mentioned, in this order. They will just come after each other. We're going to have LaSonia Harrison, JTA President, for a brief remark. Miss Casey Akar, brief remarks from the National Parenting Support Commission. Then we will move to the End Violence in School Call to Action video. And then after that, because I've been called to the radio show before Cliff Hughes fires me, on Nationwide 90 FM. At some point, I'm going to hand over my duty to a woman who knows how to do it right. And she has been doing such great work, Dr. Kessan Troop. Yes, she talks everywhere. You got this. You got this. So let's invite now LaSonia Harrison, JTA President.
Thank you, Empress, moderator. Pleasant, it's still morning. Morning, Minister? It's morning? It's afternoon. I guess my watch is misleading me. Perhaps the drummers want to stay out, and it's perhaps very instructive that I come immediately after the drummers as well from Jamaica College. As the president of the JTA, I'm not able to express preference. So it's perhaps instructive that you came just before me. So I would like one of the drummers to stay close. Nonetheless, so moderator Empress Golding, Bishop Bengushi, we greet Honorable Favour Williams and all the other members of Parliament present, and to all the other distinguished ladies and gentlemen present this morning, my colleague, principals, classroom managers, teachers, students, pleasant afternoon to you all. The Jamaica Teachers Association endorses this End Violence in Schools campaign as the increased incidence of violent behavior displayed by our treasures, our students, it is certainly taking a toll emotionally, mentally, physically, and even financially, and all stakeholders, and in particular, the members of this association are teachers. No teacher was trained in karate and other self-defense mechanisms to go to school. So when we see our children so enraged to the point of inflicting harm on each other, even to the point of death, and we continue to commiserate with the communities, the school communities in recent and certainly over the years who would have experienced witnessing these tragic activities, we say we are affected by same. Teachers are left to deal with the trauma of remembering the event, and also the children, both the aggressor and the victim, because the two lives have been affected by the incident. And they are the ones charged with treating both aggressor and victim. The stress of the hostile environment in which some of our members work is of great concern. I can only imagine the stress that some teachers feel and how they have to shift into fifth gear immediately when they awaken each morning because the uncertainties and the eventualities of the day are unknown, but we continue to dig deep and continue to face the task ahead of us. Teachers are certainly woefully underpaid, and to use that money to treat with hypertension, anxiety disorders, and all the other lifestyle challenges that come as a result of our environment. Collectively, together, we must change. We must be different. Certainly, the minister would have spoken already as to all the initiatives of the Ministry of Education, but we must underscore the need for more guidance counselors, supported by increased number of social workers, psychologists, to treat with the demand and the challenges in order for schools to meet the need and to complete the safety and security measures that are to be in place, and so both teachers and students can feel safe. We're in need of more watchmen. There are some schools that have no watchmen. So the communities are open for anyone to enter and to even bring harm among members of the school communities. We call for the timeout facilities once again, because unfortunately some of our beautiful children, because they're all made in the image and likeness of God, have some challenges that they must be separated from the regular school environment, and we must do all that we can, flood them with all the love and the resources available to us to ensure that there is a treatment and effectively done as well, so as to integrate them at the nearest possible time to reintroduce them to the regular school system. To have violent-free schools, Minister, we need a violent-free Jamaica campaign. Each citizen needs new hardware, and that only comes through divine intervention. We need a national campaign to restore family life and to support our parents to take their rightful place. Parents need to run their homes and not run around them. God gave the children to parents to steward them according to his plan. Children have rights, but equally you have responsibilities. We need to return as a nation to the village, raising the child. Everything foreign is not for Jamaica. We need to return to the teaching of civics, and we need to see our education officer in charge, or officers in charge of that discipline, out and monitoring such a program in our schools. A values and attitude campaign is needed. The tenets to be based on the values embedded in our national anthem and pledge. My precious children sitting in front of me, I am a teacher. The future of Jamaica belongs to you. You've been sitting for a while. Stand with me, stand with me. You stand proxy for all the children enrolled in schools across this nation. So you are going to declare today, I am the best of Jamaica. Say it again, I am the best of Jamaica. I am made in the image and likeness of God. I must be the change that Jamaica needs. Come on, hear some man voice and say Calabar and all. Come on, hear ya. Yes, and Woolma. Come on, man. I must be the change that Jamaica needs. Yeah. I will love God, myself, and my neighbor. Where is the drummer? Drummer's gone? Really? So we know how to do it in a classroom. Now, in a classroom, we say, I have 5 lines, and we're going to get it. In a school, outer road, from yard all abroad. Soft answer, turn where at. We are pre. When me are pre, God in my heart, just Medz it, just Medz it. You get it? So you're going to give me a beat, you know. Let's go. In a school, outer road, from yard, all abroad. Soft answer we say. Me a pray, God in my heart, just Medz it. Hold on, me not read my message good. In a school, outer road, from yard, all abroad. Soft answer turn where at. We a pray, God in my heart. Just Medz it. Just Medz it. So when the drummer say give me a beat. In a road, out in a school, outer road, from yard, all abroad. Soft answer. Come. In a school, outer road, from my... Come now, you not give me a beat. In a school, outer road, from yard. Come now, children. We catch this in a school, outer road, from yard, all abroad. Soft answer. Turn where at. Me a pray, God in a me heart. Just Medz it. Just Medz it. You get it? All right. Ready? Right. In a school, outer road, from yard, all abroad. Soft answer, turn where at. Me a pray, God in a me heart. Just Medz it. Just Medz it. Just Medz it. Just Medz it. In a school, outer road, from yard, all abroad. Soft answer, turn where at. Me a pray, God in a me heart. Just Medz it. Just Medz it. In a school, outer road, from yard, all abroad. Soft answer, turn where at. Me a pray, God in a me heart. Just Medz it. Just Medz it. Come on, children, no, catch it with me. Oh, Jamaica needs all of us to Medz it. This problem, it's all of us to own. Together we can. Together we must. All that Jamaica must fulfill its original mandate. That Jamaica may, under God, increase in beauty, fellowship, and prosperity, and play her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. Let us unite and serve. Bless you.
Thank you so much, JTA President, teacher. Yeah, go on, man. You just have to learn to read the patois a little better. Give it up for her one more time. That was good. I tell you, there's nothing without music. In our blood, in our veins. Music and creativity is how we need to teach. It is how we change the world. It's how we create new ideas for a better Jamaica. Boy, I love it. Teacher, you in the classroom still? You have to go back, man. You have to go back. I love it. Don't it? Wanna enjoy that? Wanna can read patois? Hey! Bilingual up in here. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned earlier we were going to move to Miss Cassia Carr. We're going to move up the video right now, the End Violence in School Call to Action video, which I would encourage you when you see it on social media to share it on all platforms, because it's about sharing the message so other students and other stakeholders can see it. So we're going to play that video, and then right after that, Dr. Kassan Troop, your Chief Education Officer, at the chief, you know, woman king, we say, you know, at the chief in the Ministry of Education and Youth will take over. I have to leave now, Minister. I'm going to go on radio and tell them about all the great work. I'll be sharing that on air right now. So let me go and spread the good news. And I thank you all for showing up. And remember, we all have to hold ourselves accountable. When we look in the mirror, we have to ask, what am I doing to be the change that we want to see? All right? So remember, Rising Star, Mosine Sutherland is coming up, Wayne Marshall is coming up, and so much more. So stay excited. See you in the streets. And we keep the peace. Just Medz it. Thank you.
Classmate could be a future lawyer or minister.
Do you know that your classmate or your schoolmate could be a future prime minister?
So here what? Just make daddy proud. Don't have me a worry.
Don't fight or lash out. Violence is never the answer.
Before you pick up a stone,
Why not pick up your book and just Medz it? We all have our part to play.
Let's end violence.
let's end violence.
Let's end violence.
Let's end violence. Let's end violence.
Let's end violence.
We must end violence in schools now.
So we must end violence, and you must say what? Just? We must end violence. You say? Oh, you're not hearing me. You know that I'm not familiar with this thing, right? So of course, boys and girls, this is really about you today. Today's activity is to demonstrate to you how much we care, how much we love you, and how much we want you to be the best that you were created to be. Just? All right, so you heard earlier that our own Casey Carr from the National Parenting Support Commission will come now to give her own endorsement to this national campaign. Casey.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremony, Dr. Kassan Troop, who is also the Chief Education Officer acting in the Ministry of Education and Youth. Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Education and Youth, Mrs. Maureen Dwyer, Permanent Secretary acting in the Ministry of Education and Youth, members of the Executive Management Team, other members here from the Ministry, certainly, Principal Mr. Dwight Pennycook, other principals here, students all, members of the media, good afternoon. The weight of this moment is not lost on me. Let's face it, this campaign did not come about because of things that are good that are happening in schools. We all have a concern for the extent to which violence has permeated the school system. And so it would be remiss of me not to, in this moment, invite everyone to stand. Everyone to stand. We are going to allow for a moment it to sink in while we're here, and to, in a moment of silence, recognize all the children who have been victims of, and especially the latest incidences in schools, who have succumbed to the acts of violence. Programs that we implement in schools and in communities. The success of those programs will see a better partnership between the school and homes. As the Chief Executive Officer of the National Parenting Support Commission, I get to see the full landscape because we operate at different tiers of involvement. We're in schools, we're at communities, and we're certainly in the homes. You know, in this moment, I can't help but reflect on my own time as a student. I went to Westwood High School. And I think of that time that at no moment throughout the years I spent there did I ever feel threatened. Did I ever have a concern for violence? And I was a very active member in my school. And so we had frequent interface with other schools. And even when we journeyed to other schools, I never ever felt threatened. So you can imagine that for me, it is not just recognizing how horrific things have become, but it's a sense of sadness that this is where we are. The fact is, schools provide, or were supposed to provide, a safe haven for children. Imagine a child who already has challenges because the home environment is so aggressive, because mommy or daddy or members of the extended family hurl curse words at them on a daily basis, speaks down to them in violent ways, and the extreme of that, to inflict physical harm. And then you come to school where it's supposed to be safer, but you find that you're hyper-vigilant because you never know when something is going to happen. The fact is, together, we have to fix it. The National Parenting Support Commission has been doing its part. In fact, we have many partners: the Ministry of Justice, the Dispute Resolution Foundation, UNICEF, and we have the Ministry of National Security as a major partner, as we have been educating parents and training them how to use positive methods in parenting, because we believe there is a correlation between the aggressive methods of parenting and the violence we see in society. If children model the behaviors that parents exhibit, then when they're in environments where conflicts are resolved through violent attacks, whether through words or whether through other actions, physical actions, what in fact you're teaching your children is that when they have discrepancies, when they have disagreements, they should resolve these in the same way. I believe that much has to do with what happens at the home. And so this is also my call as we launch this important campaign to all parents of Jamaica to really begin the retooling process, the re-education process, revisit your strategies. And when you're in doubt, contact the National Parenting Support Commission. Let us help you, because what you do certainly impacts the well-being of your children. I stand here very proudly as the CEO of the National Parenting Support Commission to endorse the End Violence in School campaign under the tagline, Just Medz It. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Carr. So we're going to move quickly, ladies and gentlemen. We are out of time, but we have our persons here who journeyed from far to give their public endorsement. And I'm reminded by the PS that it's an endorsement, and we should try and maximize in 30 seconds. So Mr. Stuart Jacob, followed by SSP Shan, then Mr. Samuel Smalling, and then Ms. Abrikian.
All protocols observed. Well, let me acknowledge especially Minister. The National Parent Teachers Association of Jamaica wholeheartedly endorse this program, Just Medz. Why? It is saving lives, it is settling our education system, and it is allowing our parents to be less fearful, less anxious, and give us an opportunity to send our children to school and with this hope and comfort that they'll come back to us safely. In addition to that, it is our wish as parents that every single one of you, children across Jamaica, in our education system, will add value to our country. And how do you add value? You go to school, you get the curriculum, you seep it in, you take it as best as possible, and you act it out in society when you finish school to add to our nation. Madam Minister, I'd like to say to you that the National Parent Teacher Association of Jamaica, we are agents of change, positive change. And as a result of that, we fully endorse this Just Medz. So all of you parents, Just Medz for peace in Jamaica. Thank you.
Dr. Casson Troop, Minister Favor Williams, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, students all, pleasant afternoon to you. Whilst growing up, I used to hear my parents saying, our children are the greatest gifts. And I also heard my parents saying that it takes a village to raise a child. Now looking back as an adult, I realized that we really did not understand the seriousness of those two statements. Now it takes a village to raise a child. And as police officers, we better understand that, the terms that are being used. Now, as a police officer, we have witnessed several quarrels, several fights. And since COVID-19 and after the pandemic, we have seen an increase in schools. But when I was going to school, and I don't know how many of the girls here know this, but there was only two slangs. We usually say chat to my back and a chat to my front. I don't know if any of you have heard that. Chat to my back and you turn your back, but not chat to my front. And the minute we finished saying that, the teachers knew that there was a conflict because someone else went to the teacher and told the teacher. The other one that we used to do, we used to have a skirt tail, right? And say some things like, should fly, no bother me or no follow me. But then that was where it ended. No further than that. Today, I want to endorse the End the Violence in School campaign. I know the Ministry of Education and Youth have been working on launching and implementing this project that seeks to provide a holistic approach to ending violence within schools. We have how many of you know about the Safe School programs? How many of you? You know about your school resource officers? Students, you know about your school resource officers? I know we have Safe School program in quite a few schools that are here. And we have school resource officers. I want to say to you today, whenever there is a conflict, your deans of disciplines are available. Your guidance counselors are available. My teacher and I were very best friends. So during lunchtime, we had conversations. Find someone and talk with them. The police officers are available. Listen, we are peace officers, you know. I know that a lot of you say you're afraid of police officers and you don't want to talk to police officers. But today I'm saying to you, we are your friends. We are peace officers, and we don't want to see violence in schools. So I want to say to you today, Whenever there's a conflict, just meds it. Just meds it, just meds it, just meds it, and don't stop until you reach a teacher or you reach someone who can treat with the conflict. I fully endorse the End the Violence in School campaign on behalf of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. Creating a safe space within our school is a critical part of teaching and learning for all our students and all our staff. Deans of discipline are responsible for the safety and security of all our staff and all our students, which is a very mammoth task. In a recent survey that was conducted by the National Association of Deans of Discipline, we asked a question: have you seen an increase in the level of violence in your school pre-post-COVID? 64% of the respondents said yes, and 34% said no. We asked the next question: what kind of violence do you see in your schools? 41% said verbal abuse, 29% said physical abuse, and 11% said sexual abuse. Since the inception of Deans of Discipline within our schools, we have seen data has shown that there is a reduction of violent incidents within our schools. So I want to state this afternoon that because of the proactive nature and the vigilance of Deans of Disciplines within our schools, we have seen definitely a reduction in the level of violence in our schools. As a result, we here who are on the ground every day as Deans of Discipline want to endorse this very important campaign this afternoon. However, we recognize that without all the stakeholders, and Minister, you spoke about those stakeholders, but we are calling upon all the stakeholders, the teachers, our students, our administrators, the bus drivers, the shopkeepers, our artists, our promoters, wherever you are, we are saying, come and partner with us to promote the Just Medz It campaign, our churches. And I want to call, even though Madam Harrison spoke about it, and I spoke about it in the media a couple weeks ago, I believe the call is for a treatment center for both students and parents in every region, where we get all the expertise in that facility. We are calling on psychologists, mental health persons, sports persons. We're calling on musicians, all the resources, so that the students who continue to behave in a particular way can get the necessary treatment in those facilities so that we can blend them back into the regular school system. Of course, protecting the rights of our students. As an association, this afternoon, Minister, we are committed to work hard, as we Deans of Discipline continues to do, to ensure that this campaign be a success. Together, let's just Medz it as we endorse this initiative. Thank you.
Could you just make that mic live for me? Chantal, do not panic. I will not be long. Carson, I'm going to pounce on you and call you. Could you come up here with me, please? And Dr. Troop? Yeah, we're going to do a little thing. Could you stand on this side, Dr. Troop? You stay there. Carson is the name, right? Yes. Minister Williams, what is this Just Medz It thing?
Trying to reduce violence.
It's about violence. Okay, so we have to explain it a little bit. So I'm going to do a little guinea pig test run. and I have only a minute. So I want to know if when I say something, you think it can work, and if you think it can work. Okay. I stand for non-violence. Just Medz it. Can that work? Yeah? Can that work? Yes. I stand for peace. Just Medz that, Dr. Troop. Can that work?
That can work.
I am not going to be a part of this violence. Just Medz that. Can that work? We want to hear you. Can it work?
Definitely.
All right. What's another one we can do? We really must forgive that person? You mean I forgo and Medz that?
Yes.
Oh my God. But me don't like him.
Forgive.
Me don't like her.
Forgive.
Me don't like that teacher.
Forgive.
Me really have forgo and Medz that?
Yes.
Lord, Dr. Troop. That one there hard. You think we can do it?
You can do it.
Can we do it? Even though I'm thief my phone? Just Medz it. Thank you. So, thank you. So we need a handle, don't we? For when we end with this, it's a command. I'm an English teacher. So we need an exclamation mark on it because it's a command, right? So you go to the Dean of Discipline office and you leave the office and he says, just Medz that youth, right? Or you turn to somebody. I know you guys call each other dog. My God, Minister, dog. Can you imagine they call each other dog? Dog, just Medz that. So PALS Jamaica, hereby, on behalf of its board of directors, fully endorses the Just Medz It campaign, and we look forward to complementing your efforts in any way that we can. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Abrikian. What a wonderful demonstration. Very, very, very instructive. All right, so we're going to go quickly in the interest of time. Mr. Wellington, I know you came from far. We really want to hear you. The young people know you in sports and very important to the development of our country. And then Mr. Wellington will be followed by the one and only Mr. Wayne Marshall.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm the opening act for Wayne Marshall. So me get some, I can't say it, I was opening act for Wayne Marshall. Minister Favour Williams and members of the ministry team, colleagues, students, really happy to be here, and I'm going to start at the end. The Intersecondary School Sports Association fully endorses the program being implemented by the Ministry of Education to just Medz it and end violence in schools. Sitting there, I thought about what is it that we are saying and who are we speaking with or speaking to. Definitely we want to speak with our students. And I'm guessing that most of you here are student leaders. I'm correct, right? And so you may say that you're not directly involved in violence. But as student leaders, I want to remind you of three things that I think all of us would have heard before. One, education is about socialization. Two, education is supposed to provide an opportunity to allow students to be groomed to fit into society. And three, a child should lead them or will lead them. We have all heard those three sayings before. Yeah, man, I'm sure. Somebody shaking their head. I'm sure we have all heard those three things. Now, as school leaders, times have changed. And we would want to get to the point where our students are the ones who are going to be shaping society. We want you to be the one, we don't want to have students who are trying to fit into society, especially as it is today. We want you to shape society. And so, as it relates to violence in our schools, you are the ones who we want to be our leaders. We want you to be the one who will make the change. So even though you may be the nice, quiet student in the batch, we want you to hold yourself accountable. We want you to be the ones to say that we want no violence in our schools. There's also another saying, especially in rural Jamaica, that the children knows everything. And anything you hear the children with, you can take it as gospel. Because you know where the conflicts are. You know what is going to happen long before it gets to the dean of discipline or the vice principal or the principals. So we want you as leaders to be the one who lead this charge. As the leader of the Intersecondary School Sports Association, we provide opportunities for persons to compete against each other. So you're opponents, but we also create an environment where harm is done to you and we expect you not to retaliate. So on the football field, it is illegal to tackle somebody from behind, but we don't expect you to get up and thump down the person. Not true? So it's we talk about beating another team or beating somebody, but it is not something that we expect you to take offense to. We expect you to tolerate and accept that the other person may have done better than you. And so, in closing, a popular sports brand has as its motto, its tagline, just do it. So we are saying, just do it, just Medz it, and get rid of violence in our schools.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Big up to all the students in the place, all of my first cousin them. I don't know if you know what I'm going, but big up to the first. If you know, you know what I'm saying? Minister Favour Williams, thank you for inviting me to be a part of this campaign. It's a big deal, and I'm happy to be here to represent for the future. When I was called for this initiative, I jumped at the opportunity because I knew how important this message was to be sent, was to be addressed. And I think it's important to note that this was not an initiative that was reactive to the most recent incident at KT, but it was in response to a bigger problem that we have in the country. And as I said, I am happy to be here. I'm happy to, as a part of the entertainment fraternity, represent the entertainment fraternity and say that we fully endorse this. When I say just, you say Medz it. Just. Just. And before I go, I want to find out which is the best high school in the auditorium right now. No, man, I can't hear no so good. Go. All right. Look at that. Look at that, Mr. Pennycook. We have a conflict. And look how we're going to resolve it amicably, because everybody knows that Woolmers are the #1 school, boy. But there you have it. You know, we need to resolve our conflicts peacefully. And again, as a representative from the music fraternity, we endorse this campaign. When I say just, you say Medz it. Just. Simple as that. Somebody say, you're not sing a little something. And the truth is, we cannot leave God out of the equation, right? So if you guys know this one, I want you to sing it with me. Lord, I pray, I honor your name, deliver your mercy. Whenever I fall, you lift me up. Glory to thee. Sing. Thank you.
Let's show some appreciation, boys and girls. Let's give it up for the entertainment sector. We're so happy to have you, Wayne. So we have Mr. Hilton from the Project Star, who's representing Keith Duncan, to give his endorsement. Let's welcome him, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. All right, I'm going to just be very short. And a lie we and I tell, Wilmers are the best school in Jamaica. See, I get Kodagis. Over 20 years ago, I had the privilege of attending this institution. Around about the same time Wayne was here. We know him as Wayne Mitchell. We don't know him as something else. But anyway, during that time, we enjoyed going to school. It was fun. School was a place to meet friends. It was a place to get educated, play ball, play cricket. We used to have classrooms that were locked down and have DJ competition. The idea of somebody being stabbed to death on our compound at Wilmers is something I can't even fathom. I'm not going to lie to you and I'm going to feel like it was a perfect environment. We had moments. We had things that happened. But we have gotten to a place now where we have to start Medz it. We have to start think before we act. We have to start celebrate one another. We have to start love each other again. You know what, if you come from Wilmers or Calabar or KC or JC or Homewood or KT, no matter the school where you come from, the truth about it is every single one of you in this room represents the future of our country. And if we lose one or no, it means that we have mashed up the future. Not true, because we will lose that contribution there. So on behalf of the private sector organization of Jamaica, Mr. Keith Duncan, who is unavoidably absent, and Project Star. Project Star is a social transformation and renewal project that is targeting volatile and vulnerable communities in Jamaica with an attempt, of course, to bring social transformation. Minister and the other representatives from the ministry, we fully endorse the Just Medz It campaign. And I want to say to the young people here today, it's not about the minister and it's not even about me and Wayne and our endorsement. It's about your endorsement. Because when you touch the ground and you're there in a school, nobody no more influential than you to your brethren. Nobody have more power over your brethren decision than you. Minister now got there when the next fight broke out in the school. Miss Troop now got there when our next man tell our next man about his mother. But you will be there. And you can be like that young lady at Kingston Technical who decided that she was going to do something. She Medz it, how she can help somebody that's injured. Maybe if more people there Medz it and I think, oh, we can stop somebody from getting injured, we'd have been having a different conversation. So instead of we perpetuate it, instead of we add to it, instead of we be a part of it, why not stop and just Medz it? Big up on yourself.
Wow, I could not have said it better. Just, boys and girls, we are relying on you. Minister will not be there. The executive of the ministry will not be there, but you will be there. Just, a lie? All right, so we have one of our young rising stars, none other than Mozaine from? Are you all the way over there? I'm not hearing you. From? Right, he's our Rising Star 2022, and he's here just to endorse and entertain. Let's welcome him.
Thunder in my soul, baby. My heart beats for you only. Every word is true. I'm in love with you. Take you as you are, lady. You ain't gotta change for me. Need you from your crown, honey. Right down down to the sole of your very feet, girl. 'Cause my love grows stronger each day, baby, please. Don't hurt me just because you know I'll forgive. 'Cause my love grows stronger each day, baby, please. Don't hurt me just because you know I'll forgive. No, no, hold me until we die, weather together the storms of life. There won't always be sunshine, baby, we're blends of imperfection. Oh, give me your heart and soul, love me like you've never loved before. Oh, beautiful morning dew, I'll be the shoulder to cry on to. Oh, ba, ba, ba. My love grows stronger each day, baby, please don't hurt me just because you know I forgive. 'Cause my love, da 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 da. Girl, don't hurt me just because you know I forgive. Lord, baby.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you sit down? Hello. Yes. Good afternoon. Minister of Education and Youth, distinguished guests, students, good afternoon. I am Muslim Solomon, the winner of the 2022 SRI Stars. So, I'll give you how much you know.
Through the war and open door, I stretch my hands to you. Come rescue me. I need you right away. I need you now. I need you now. I need you now. I need you now. The feelings of guilt, hurt, shame, and defeat. The waves of trials have been upon me. But to know, Lord, that in you I've got victory. I need you now, Lord, I need you now. I need you right now, right now, right now. Lord, I need you right away. Thank you. Thank you.
Mozane! I'll give you a lane. Mozane, you're just a romanticized thing, so you're out of this world, Mozane! I did it. That sounds like a lane on a Sunday evening. Boy, we are so proud of you. We are so proud that you could be a part of this activity this afternoon. And I can feel the love from your peers. Boys and girls, give it up for Muzain Sutherland. So we are at the end of this wonderful launch. And I know you want to go. I sense that. But I know you have also really appreciate right now that you're going back to do what? You're going back to do what? Just Medz it. Boys and girls, we are relying on you. We need you to be a part of this campaign. We need you to spread this message, to promulgate this concept that we can resolve conflicts together. Mrs. Abrikian can tell you, we talk about the win-win from the pals. We talk about walking away. We're talking about reporting. We know what to do. There is no doubt about that. Minister spent some time outlining what we have been doing as a ministry. We hear people talk about teaching civics in school. Civics is being taught in school, and we will be launching the updated curriculum as part of our Jamaica 60 Legacy Project. There is a draft curriculum being implemented right now in schools. We have a health and family life education curriculum, which is a life skills-based curriculum being taught in our schools. We started out this with an integrated approach, training teachers to deliver this in their classrooms. And our teachers asked us, we need more help. Today we have 171 teachers who are just teaching health and family life education in our high schools. We are listening. The resources are there, boys and girls. We have 1,198 guidance counselors doing personal development, career counseling, group guidance, group counseling. We have resources in our schools. We have over 200 school resource officers working with us in our schools. We're not talking about a school system without resources. We are working with you. We have installed metal detectors. It's not because we want to have our schools look like that, but we understand the dynamics, we understand the demands of the time, and we have responded. All our high schools have handheld metal detectors. That's really not what we want, but it is there. What we want is love. What we want is respect. What we want is forgiveness. What we want is for you to accept your responsibility, forgive and restore. You heard Minister Chuck earlier. We are calling on you. We need you. The Child Care and Protection Act was passed in 2004, and it spoke to 3 categories of rights: protection rights, provision rights, and participation rights. It means that you have a role to play in the transformation of our schools and this country. And we talk about ratifying the UN Convention in 1991, Minister referenced it earlier, that talks about the rights of our children. No rights come with what? Responsibility. So we need you to just Medz it. A lie. We need you to be a part of this transformation. We cannot do this from central ministry alone. We need everybody to stand with us. And it starts with you. It starts with you. I want you to promise to stand up for justice, brotherhood, and peace. We say that every day in our school pledge. It's not just to say it, it's to live it. That's what we want. And I can speak personally about this. I've experienced violence. I've had opportunities where a 13-year-old student of Norman Manley High School stood beside me, and we were unfortunately exposed to a drive-by shooting, and she died right beside me. I've had the experience of working in a school as a teacher and seeing students turn up with guns. We're not talking about that we are removed from what you are experiencing. We know, and we feel with you, and that's why we have come out today as a ministry to say, let's Medz it. It's got to stop. No child should be experiencing violence in our school. That's not what school is about. It's about excellence. It's about becoming your best. It's about living up the hope that we have for you. We are calling you into the partnership. Report the things that are going wrong in your school. Respect the rules of your school. Do not circulate unfortunate videos. It's not a good message of our education system. You have to take responsibility for that. For every opportunity of circulation in the social space, some student did that. And it colors all of us. They speak about the education system, not the 1, not the 2, not the 15%. They speak about all of us, not you, my student leaders, who are transforming, who are just excelling. When you represent, you do so well. And we are feeling proud. We want to feel proud of all of you. Every single Jamaican child has a right to an education in a safe environment. And we are calling on you to do that. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I just want to recognize our minister for the vision. Let's show some appreciation to our minister for the vision. Let's show some appreciation for our permanent secretary. You know, we can't do anything without the authorization of our chief administrator. And she reminded me earlier that I need to say that more is coming. We are listening, and I know you need your counselors. You need more. We may have to change the ratio. And that is a debate, rather a conversation that we're having in the ministry. And the permanent secretary reminded me as I was sitting there that more will be coming. We are going to be retooling and resourcing our schools as we are preparing the new budget to face the new budget year. Boys and girls, we are listening and we need you. I want to thank you, SSP, and all the persons who came out today to represent different organizations. It's a stand for peace. And I want you to recognize, boys and girls, you know, every single individual that came up here, NPSC, everybody, it's a public demonstration of the entities working together in service to you. Everybody who came up here today, we are working for you. So don't go out there thinking, oh, you're alone. Never think that. Every single resource in your school is put there for you. School is about you. And so NPSC spoke and there was a call. SSP spoke. ISA spoke. JTA spoke and left us with a little jingle. Everybody is just a stand to show. And I'm sorry they're not here at the end because I would have loved for them to just stand up for you to see and be encircled by the representation of work being done on your behalf. Your teachers are with you. And they have been crying out. They want to teach. They want to love you. That's what we do. I'm a teacher myself. We don't get up every day to come to make you miserable. We come because we believe in you. Our job is to unearth the excellence in you. And that's why they are here today. I see Miss Steele from the Queen School. I worked with her when I was a teacher there. I'm so proud of all that we continue to do. Many things are happening that are good in our schools. We don't hear it. We don't see you rotating that in social media. But I want you to go forward now and just post Just Medz it. So me a pray, you a pray, God in our heart, just come again. Me a pray, you a pray, God in our heart, just. So that's a little jingle that JTA left with us, you know. So I want you not to just forget that, you know, because we know how it goes in Jamaica. We learn through music and the arts. And that's what we use in behavior modification, right? That's what the psychologists talk about, the expressive arts. It's a major part of what we do. So I want you to hold on to that. Me a pray, you a pray, God in our heart, just, because there is hope for you. There is hope for you, and I want you to stand with us. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you for what you're going forward to do. Just, thank you very much. So just to close, we're going to repeat the national pledge. After 2, 1, 2. Before God. Thank you very much, boys and girls. We have refreshment at the back for you. Please don't leave. Kindly refresh yourselves.
Raj, mute this.